Hello, Sitaram, and good morning again. I'm sorry about that little glitch, but we always have these little things with technology. My name is Ram Naresh Dwarika, again, welcoming all our brothers and sisters to this, our regular Thursday morning program on addiction and recovery. And I want to let you all know, those of you listening, that this is an interactive program. You can text any questions you have to the number on the screen, 768-5925, or even after the program. That's my direct WhatsApp number that you can reach me if you have a query or question. And to let you know that this program is being recorded and will be posted on YouTube and Facebook soon after its completion this morning. So, those of you who are unable to listen to it in its entirety, you can always go back and log in and send the link to someone who you think might also benefit from the program. This program is also going to be repeated on radio and TV Jagriti at 10 p.m. tonight, so you can listen to it again. This morning, I want to deal with a very troublesome issue, something that is, you know, every day, almost two, three times for the day, I will get calls, especially from mothers, about their sons. Some of these sons are, full grown adults, 29 years, 36 years, and who have now become victims of alcoholism, who are drinking every day. The last one I had a call from, he had to be hospitalized because he almost committed suicide with alcohol. Alcohol is a poison. A lot of people don't realize that. Yeah, if you can drink a tablespoon of alcohol every day, it may have some benefits, for your circulation and all of that. But I don't know of anyone who has been able to take a tablespoon of alcohol and stop. In the culture that we live in Trinidad and Tobago, I mean, drinking has become part of our lifestyle or culture. We don't have any kind of get together, and there isn't any drink except when we have our bhagwats, our kathas, and so on at home. Yes, but I have known of instances reported to me that even after the pandit leave the family, as they get together, they wait till the pandit is out of sight, and then the drinks come out. This is really a bad indictment on our society as Hindus and as Indians. But generally, in the national landscape, in Carnival, Easter, Christmas, you name it, every holiday. And I have traveled quite a bit. I've lived in Jamaica, I have traveled to North and South America, Europe, and wherever I meet Caribbean people, it seems like the most prevalent way of one enjoying themselves or having a time out is there must be alcohol in the mix. I go to Miami, and every evening and weekend and social occasions is punctuated with alcohol, barbecue and alcohol. New York, same thing. Canada, same thing. And it has become embedded in people's minds, it seems, that you can't have a good time unless you have drink. And I see that happening even in my own family here in Trinidad and Tobago. You know, to the extent where because I've stopped drinking, I get excluded because, yes, I stick out as a sore thumb, and make people feel a little bit uncomfortable. And I don't mind that. I don't mind that at all because, when you stop drinking, you really want to stay stopped. You should stay away from these places, drinking places, situations, and people who are drinking. And as if by supply and demand, laws of economics, alcoholics, they do not want to hang out with people who are not alcoholics. The old saying, birds of a feather seem to flock together. Well, that's the same with alcoholics. You know, when I was drinking, if I sat with social drinkers to to enjoy an evening or something, I would feel very uncomfortable because these guys would just pour a drink and they will be talking and sipping, and I found that I couldn't do that. When I went to drink, I went to drink. I would pour the drink, and as soon as I pour it and give it two spin, I would drink it down. And then I'd be ready to take another drink because now, in retrospect, I realize I wasn't going there to taste alcohol. I wasn't going there so much for the conversation or the company. I was going there to, when I take that first drink, I wanted to feel good and to feel good right away. And that is one of the basic underpinnings of alcoholism. You know, the inability to postpone gratification. And that has serious implications, not only for alcoholics, but people who, for across the board, universally. And as I say this, you know, we are not teaching our children to postpone gratification. They, as soon as they identify anything they want, we try to provide it for them. You know, they're not willing to work and wait to be rewarded. And that has implications for their schoolwork as well. Because in school, you have to work all the whole term, you have to study, you have to write the exam, and then you feel good when you, or you don't feel good when you get the results. You have to wait for the results. And that is a discipline in itself that we need to teach. I know there are cultures, I am told that the Chinese and the Japanese, they teach their children to sacrifice. They deliberately sometimes deprive them of things that they show, you know, they aggressively want, just to see how they will deal with disappointment. And so they learn to deal with disappointment. And I dare say there isn't such a high incidence among the Japanese population, the Chinese, because they also have a genetic makeup that does not tolerate alcohol. If you saw a Japanese person or a Chinese person, after one or two drinks, they have become very flushed and they tend to get drunk very easily because their genotype is made up that way. So this morning, I want to talk about in about the difficulty in identifying the alcoholic and the difficulty in getting them to agree to seek help. Now, this program is going to be broken up into two segments. We're coming very close to the end of the first segment, and then we will take a little break, and then we'll come back and deal with this subject that I'm talking about. But just before we go, let me say that there's a very high tolerance for drinking and drug use in Trinidad and Tobago. Because of the culture, as I mentioned earlier on, you know, we expect, I mean, it is normal for people to drink, for young people to drink. It is even regarded by some as a rites of passage. You know, I've attended several Indian weddings, and I would hear the friends of the groom telling him or egging him on that, hey, you're a big man now, man. You're a big man from today. You're a married man. You have license. You could take a drink, as if to satisfy our friends. I mean, I remember that happening with me as well. You know, on my wedding night, I was drunk. You understand? And people should not, if they really want to impress their bride and their wives, that's not one way to start the relationship. Albeit, though, that most relationship, by the time we get married, we would have known each other for several years, so it's not so impactful. And I'm saying to our sisters out there, you know, if you are going to seriously consider a person as a bride, as a husband, you have to pay very, very close attention to their drinking and drug use or any kind of addiction that they may have. These are big, big red flags that tell you, hey, you are signing up for trouble for the rest of your life and for your children if you start a family with this person. I know that a lot of men would hide the fact that they have a drinking problem or an addiction problem from their in-laws and from their bride to be. But get to know this person. In the old days, the relatives would even inquire from, I know this happened in the old days, the village, if you had a daughter to get married to someone, you'd find out what kind of boy is that, you know, and some of the first questions, well, you'll ask if he's employed, but the second thing that follows up is, does he drink, you know, or smoke or gamble and things like that. And these are red flags for especially for arranged marriages, and more so for people who are involved in love marriages or intend to be in love marriages. You need to get to know that person. And not I'm not only saying for boys. Now girls are drinking as well. And I'll tell you, it is bad enough for a man to be an alcoholic head of a family, but it is several times worse when the woman, the mother, wife, the wife and the mother of the children is an alcoholic. Because I have seen it in my experience working in this field, a lot of times the wives and the mothers are able to hold the family together because they're doing it while he's drinking. He just goes to work. Sometimes he's not working at all. They have to now find other means to stretch the money and make ends meet and feed the family and educate them. So the mothers are, I would say, generally much more competent and capable to hold the family together than the men. And this is why, in most jurisdictions, when there's a divorce or separation, the courts generally choose to give the children to the mother because the mother, for all practical purposes, has started the relationship with each one of these children, carried them for 9 months, and then in the early days of their life would have formed such a bond with them that sometimes the father does not have because he's out there working. And then children are considered generally much more safe from molestation and all of that being with the mother. We have had, and it is not a secret anymore. We have had several instances of child molestation by biological fathers in this country. People don't talk about it, but the Children's Authority has documented this, that because when you get a report, of incest, that is just the tip of the iceberg. Because most families, they do not speak about this. You know, in communities, it is very rare. It is only sometimes by accident that a child blurts out, what's happening when under stress and under pain of suffering, may confide with a teacher or some other relative, an aunt or something, that they are being molested or under the threat of being molested. So I want to let our brothers and sisters know out there that we need to pay attention to this, and prevention is always better than cure. So at this point, we'll take a little break. We'll come back in a few minutes and we'll continue with this discussion.